neighbors. It's the 7th episode of Cooking with Cousin Carl, and today's main ingredient is the scrambled hard-boiled egg. It's Easter, April 1st, so I'm going to do a recipe that is a family tradition in my family called eggs LaGoldenrod, starring the hard-boiled egg. Now, some people have this as for Easter. We always did. A lot of people don't know what the hell I'm even talking about. But this is how you make it. Boil an egg. This is my trick for boiling eggs. I put the eggs right out of the fridge into the pot, cover them with water, bring to a boil, turn the heat off. 6 minutes, you get a soft yolk. 10 minutes, you get a hard yolk. Anywhere in between, you get sort of a custardy yolk. So I hard-boiled up a dozen eggs, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a bechamel sauce, add the egg whites. We've separated the yolks and the whites, and then put that over toast, and then sprinkle some yolks over the top. Now, we're going to make a little bechamel sauce here. Forgot that I put this in the refrigerator. So, we got lots of butter. We're just going to put a whole bunch of butter in the pot, and a tiny little bit of oil too, and return this to here. Now, when my grandma used to make it, I think she would just make a standard bechamel sauce. As that comes up to temperature, I'm going to add some more stuff. So I got a little bit of, we got some cayenne, paprika, garlic powder, smoked paprika, salt, black pepper, and some celery salt. Now this is not what my grandma would put in, but it's in the evening time. Normally we have this for brunch, and it's in the evening, so we're going to make it a little more savory with another special ingredient to come. Now, eggs LaGoldenrod, I think the way they used to do it is everybody would bring a hard-boiled egg from their Easter basket and add it to the pot. And so you would get a lot of dyed eggs in the pot, so you would get kind of cool blue swirls in the whites or red swirls. So we're kind of mimicking that with some of our herbs and with some of the brandy that we're going to put in there in a second. So, come on over. We're going to make a bechamel, which is just butter, fat, and starch. So, I got some butter going in there, and I'm going to put some flour. And I get to use my all-time favorite utensil, the freakishly small metal spatula. What is this? Whisk. The freakishly small metal whisk. That's my favorite thing to use. So we're going to whisk that up, cook all that flour, take the raw edge off it. I'm going to add a little bit more because it looks a little wet still. And I like never measure when I'm cooking, so I don't think that's always the best idea, but that's cooking. Okay, now you can see it's coming together in a nice roux. We're going to take our seasonings, we're going to add those in and do a little stir action. Just cook off that harsh taste of the flour with the herbs, liven up herbs. Now we don't want to put much color on the sauce, so we're going to let that do its thing for a second. And generally you would just put in milk, but I'm gonna add a little vegetable broth too. Like I said, it's nighttime, so we're gonna make this a little more savory. Now, hot roux, cold liquid, no lumps. That's what Chef John on Food Wishes tells me. So I'm gonna add a little bit of broth, a whole lot of milk, and we're gonna bring it to boil while constantly whisking. Okay? Here we go, here we go. Now the egg whites I've given just a rough chop, and the yolks I've given a more fine chop. Now my grandma used to have what's called a ricer, and you would put the yolks through the ricer so it would become very fine, but I don't have one of those, so I don't do it. Also, the stuff is all cooked, so you don't really have to worry about it being a consistent chop on anything. So as you can see, my egg whites are pretty varied, and my yolks will be as well. And anytime you're making a bechamel or a roux-based sauce, when it comes to a boil, it will be as thick as it's gonna be. Continuously stirring, freakishly small metal whisk right there. And I'll show you my freakishly small metal spoon, second favorite utensil. And these are the yolks that will go over the top. So we'll set those right there. In this pan I got a little bit of shallot and garlic. And as soon as that comes up to start sizzling, let's see what I'm gonna do. It's kind of the coolest part of the whole trick. All right, this is starting to thicken up a little bit. Our shallot, garlic, doing nothing, not singing yet. Once it starts singing, then we're gonna add a little burnt brandy to our sauce to just add that little bit of extra dynamic. One time we threw a party, me and my buddy and my sister Barbie was in town in New York, and we decided to make deviled eggs for everybody. And then we had 50 people in our apartment, and every time you opened the refrigerator, it smelled like eggs very badly in our apartment. It was a terrible decision. Word to the wise, when you're throwing a party, make the deviled eggs somewhere not in the place that the party is gonna happen. All right, now you can hear that singing. Okay, now this is just a little bit of shallot in here just to add a little savoriness to our bechamel. E&J brandy, delicious. Add it in there. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to add it to this pan. The alcohol is going to boil before the water, and then we can ignite it on the fire and some flambe. So, and there we go. As the flame catches, the alcohol will burn off. It's high alcohol content, so that will just continue to burn. Once the flame goes out, the alcohol is done, and we will add it to our bechamel. All right, that's done. Look how thick that is. You saw it earlier, it was just nothing. Now it's all thick. Singing now, ain't it? It is singing. Okay, we'll add that into our bechamel. Stir again. And let that all incorporate. Now what you do to test thickness of things is you do the old back of the spoon test. That's good. Taste. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. Okay, that brandy is adding a lot. So now we're going to add in our egg whites. And like I said, these have already been cooked, so it really just has to come together. Give it a stir. Let it cook for a second. Oh yeah, that's looking real. Looking mighty fine. Now, one thing I did keep the same, that the way we used to eat this always, was on white bread. White bread toast. Now, I don't always like to use white bread on stuff, but there's a few things I think it is a must on. This is one of them. Also, grilled cheese. You gotta have it. All right, so now we're just gonna put this together. Come on over, let me show you. You got your white toast. You got your egg whites. Those go right on top. And then with our freakishly small metal spoon, we add the yolk on top like that, all over the place. And then, to your friend who's never had it before, you let him enjoy eggs LaGoldenrod. How is it?
White bread.
Delicious. It's like eggs with gravy.
Here we go. You ready for this? We're gonna make sure it's nice and hot. Nice and hot before we do this because we want good flame for the camera. And then we ignite. It wasn't hot enough. Oh, come on. Hold on, I gotta redo that.
Whoop.